I call Chris Bishop, 5 minutes.
Thank you, Mr Speaker. Well, Marama Davidson is a new Member of Parliament, but she really needs to do her research or sack her research unit, because some of the stuff we just heard from Ms Davidson beggars belief. What did she say? She said wages have not kept up with the cost of living. Wrong. Wages over the last 7 or 8 years are up 27% compared to inflation of around about 10%. It may have escaped your notice that we are in a essentially zero inflation environment and wages are increasing year on year. Wrong. What else did she say? This is a government that has cut benefits. She literally said that. Well, I don't know if she was here for Budget 2015, when we became the first government in 43 years to raise benefit levels. What else did she say? She said this is a government that's failing the most vulnerable. Again, look at what we're doing in the reform of SIFs, the hard work that Anne Tolley is doing in the reform of that dysfunctional organisation that is funded in this budget. Look at the enormous moves that we're making in terms of social investment, funding programs that actually get results, not measuring things by how much money we chuck out to the agencies, but actually whether or not it makes a difference. So none of those things are accurate. Sir, it's been an interesting day in politics with the political marriage between the Greens and the Labour Party. Clearly, James Shaw has lost the battle inside the Green Party over the strategic direction of the Greens. Clearly, James has lost. Materia has won, and they're rowing their boat and tying it to the Labour Party. So James Shaw has lost, re-elected by the leadership, but essentially no longer the leader. Materia has won and has taken over. So what have we got to look forward to? Stefan Browning as Minister of Homeopathy, Stefan Browning as Minister of Growing Things in an Orchard in his parliamentary office in a Labour Greens government. But the real question that is before the House is, will it last? Will this political marriage last? Because literally 3 questions into the press conference, Andrew Little got asked, will this last? And he said, oh, well, we're not going to be monogamous. So this is a marriage in which one party in the marriage is literally signing up to the marriage and saying, oh, but just by the way, I may actually be an adulterer down the line. I actually can't commit to you. Even though I'm throwing in my lot with you, even though I'm moving in with the extreme left, moving into a house and getting married, you're actually saying you might be an adulterer with the chap down the road. You know, the charismatic guy down the road who's with the twinkly eyes and who's got a good way with words sometimes when he bothers to prepare properly. So, Mr Speaker, it's been an interesting day in politics, but this is a great budget from a government that knows what it's doing and knows where New Zealand is heading, and that is heading in the right direction. It's also a particularly good budget, sir, for the Hutt Valley. Firstly, because we're going to be one of the first regions that rolls out the National Bowel Screening Program, and I can say that that has been extremely well received, sir, in the Hutt Valley. But more importantly, perhaps, and that is that the big boost that this budget gives to Technology Valley. And Technology Valley is all about the Hutt Valley as the home for science and technology and engineering and manufacturing, all of which is going to benefit from this $761 million boost that the Innovative New Zealand package that Minister Stephen Joyce has put together. And I've got to say, sir, it's been very regrettable to see members opposite, in particular one member opposite, criticise this package, talk about political flunkies handing out the money and talk about how it's not going to be good. Sir, these are funds that are administered independently. The Marsden Fund, which receives a 49% increase in funding in this budget, sir, is administered by the Marsden Council. The Marsden Fund funds Jane Kelsey. So I don't think it's fair to say, sir, that the Marsden Fund is administered by political flunkies. She's writing a book, or writing a project anyway, it's probably become a book, about the transcendental nature of neoliberalism in the modern world, sir. So I venture to suggest that if it was actually literally the funding was approved by political flunkies, a national government would not fund that project. And that just gives lie to the claim, sir, that political flunkies do this. The Endeavour Fund, the Strategic Science Investment Fund, it's increasing funding in this budget for CRIs, with the funding that used to be regarded as core funding, including for great Hutt Valley institutions like GNS Science, sir, is very important. It's not administered by political flunkies. Sir, we have struggled for years as a country to invest in science and invest in our R&D capability and more importantly, to commercialise the scientific research coming out of our great institutions. And this is a government that has finally done something about it by increasing funding in science to $1.6 billion and actually putting money into the projects that commercialise some of the scientific research funding that come out, as well as all the funding that goes into R&D, and that is increasing business investment and leading us up the Global Innovation Index, sir. This is a good budget for the Hutt Valley.